experience, I'm aware of this. There's a problem in many cases with entrepreneurs, and that is, hey, it's my idea, I am the CEO. And CEOs are a very specific personality. At what point does an entrepreneur need to make the decision that this really may not be the best thing for me, and I need to reach out and find a board of directors and talent that can run a business rather than forward an idea simply?
One of the best things an entrepreneur can tell us, and we'll hear this through a variety of channels, but one of the best things they can tell us is that they are open to new ideas and to change. If you are an entrepreneur who is willing to listen to others, who is willing to step aside, even regardless of whether or not that happens at some point in the future, that's telling to us. That tells us that you have a certain amount of flexibility, and we want to work with those people. Not necessarily in the interest of replacing a CEO, but just more along the lines of understanding that from when an idea starts to execution and the successful ones, there are a variety of changes. Transformation is probably a better word that takes place. If you listen to the successful CEOs who have been successful, they will tell you this. So having that flexibility is key, and we want to see that in our investments. So
let's use that $50,000 number for the friends and family money, because that seems to be a pretty common sort of area between $50,000 and $100,000. If all you have is $50,000 and you have an idea, where would you suggest that the most prudent investment is in that $50,000? Where should they put that money? Is it in pre-marketing and pictures, or is it in development? Where do you think is the most prudent place to put that money?
I think it's important, rather than identify or mention a specific area that would be appropriate for all companies, I would instead prefer to look at or encourage the CEO or the team to be able to understand and clearly articulate what the key milestones that they need to reach in order to be successful, and then tie those milestones to dollars.
Okay.
So in short, if you come to us and say you need $1 million, $250,000 is going to go for this, and another $300 is going to go towards this, that's going to come across a lot more credible to us than just saying I need $1 million.
So now I want to touch on something that I know is sensitive in every discussion. Over the many years I've been at this myself. Non-disclosures. End users or consumers of your services, which would be the entrepreneur that's looking for investment, are very distrusting of the world in general, and they're worried that everybody is going to take their idea. So they have been told by people that are not investors, you should ask for a non-disclosure. What is the reason that they can't expect a non-disclosure?
We don't sign NDAs because we see so many deals. The process involved, and it just doesn't, it wouldn't make sense for us to do that. We would have to track 2,000 deals a year, or even 200 deals a year. But let me answer that from the entrepreneur's standpoint. I think it's really important that you be careful about what you disclose, specifically when you're just entering a new relationship. And I would argue that you're in a stronger position if you can keep the investor asking for more. Mm-hmm. The tendency is to do an information dump.
Yep.
I've got 10 minutes and I want to tell you everything about my company. Don't. Allow the time for Q&A, and if you don't feel comfortable disclosing something, then don't disclose it, and wait till that relationship evolves a little bit until you are more comfortable.
And I know that from the perspective of, well, let's step back. It's like movies. As a writer myself of novels and that, I understand that there are only so many story elements, and I tell this to people that come to me and ask for advice on this non-disclosure issue. And I always tell them, while your idea may be novel or a tweak of something, generally your idea is probably being incubated in 50 different places around the country at one time, and it's really as much who gets there first and who does it better, who out executes. So you have to be concerned as an investor about signing a non-disclosure on something that may well already be in your pipe and you can't talk about it because it's part of your investment portfolio. Or there was 5 other guys last week showing you the same thing. So I can understand why you have to hold back on that. And I think that really comes down to your assurance that TCA has a record of being trustworthy and that people can come to you and share what they need to facilitate a relationship.
Right. And as I said before, I mean, there's so many ideas that we see. It just wouldn't be realistic for us to start pursuing those, nor would we have the time to do so.
And I think, too, your point that's very valid is that the entrepreneur with the idea, the passion, the willingness to go to their family and get money, put their lives and credit cards and everything into a situation like this, they're really the ones you want out in front pushing this forward. You don't want to have to move your energy over to them. You want to let them be the machine and move over to the next one, right? I mean, isn't that the whole model?
Precisely. If you're coming to us asking us for money, you better have put some of your own in it.
So if you had a few points of quick points of advice for the entrepreneur that's sitting on the couch thinking, gee, maybe I should get up and go do this thing I've been thinking about forever, what would that be?
I would have to say, be flexible. Be willing to evolve with the company, because they all do. Commit yourself to continual learning. Surround yourself with people who can challenge you and further your ideas through doing so. And finally, don't let fear of failure prevent you from doing something that could be great. And I would argue that it's only when you're failing that you have the chance to succeed. Mm-hmm. And that's a strange thing, and it's difficult for a lot of people to overcome that or understand that. But I think that the most talented people, if you talk to them and sat down and had a candid conversation, they would tell you that they've had a history of failure that's preceded this success.
Yeah, and without failure, without risk, there's little reward. And to me, throughout my entire life of doing this stuff, it has been the adrenaline of going, what's going to happen next? Am I going to blow it this time? I mean, that's kind of, that's an important thing. Well, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate your taking the time to come out and help us. Is there a way that folks can get in contact with you?
Absolutely. The first step would be to go to our website, TechCoastAngels.com. We have a couple interesting events coming up this spring. We've started holding monthly mixers. Mm-hmm. And this is a chance for entrepreneurs to come out, meet with us, ask a lot of the questions that you've asked, but even more specific as to their deal. And just to get to know us a little bit. We want to be more accessible. In the past, we haven't always been so. And so one of the things that I want to do is to reach out to the entrepreneurs, let them know we're here, and just have that mutual exchange. Also, we have our annual Fast Pitch coming up this spring. And this is an opportunity for CEOs to pitch accredited investors and some VCs their deal. Last year, we had over 100 applicants, which we distilled down to 10 finalists. And then we had our Fast Pitch evening, which was participated by some 350 people attended this event.
Wow.
So great opportunity to get your idea out there and get to know some of the investors.
Well, great. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
So don't forget, TechCoastAngels.com. If you would like to reach out to them and get started with your ideas, go for it. You've been watching EyeOnBusiness, and I'm Kevin McDonald. Thank you.